Hey guys, this is the TheNR2 here, and this is my first tutorial. I'm going to be making a series on basically the basics of editing, mostly Call of Duty editing. If you want anything else, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, or send me a direct message. So, what we're going to do today is motion tracking. What you're going to want to do is get a cinematic, preferably 59 frames per second. As you can see, mine is 59 frames per second here. Make sure you've got a folder with, it's up to you if you do this, but I have a Boujou save, a Cinema 4D save, and a Vegas Pro save. Just gonna get rid of this save here. You're gonna need all these programs, the full versions, which you can get them in a lot of ways. I'm not gonna make a tutorial on how to get them, but if you look it up, I'm pretty sure you can find out how to get them. What you're gonna want to do is you want to go into Vegas, which I already have open. Find this. Make sure you go to Properties. Make sure it's on 59 frames per second. Click OK. Go down to the videos. Right click. Properties, make sure disable resample is checked and uncheck maintain aspect ratio. Click OK, go back and check again. Yep, that's all fine. I've already done this. You're going to want to go render, find your folder. You definitely need a folder for this. Make a folder that's something to do with images. Just type in images if that's what I do. It's up to you, you can call it whatever you want, and save, and you'll get all these images. You definitely want to make a folder so you don't get up with all these images sitting on your desktop, because it's really hard to work with and you have to go back at the end of the edit and delete them all, and it's all just horrible. So just close that down. I've already done this, so make sure you close it. You don't have to save it. And you've got all these images here. You're going to then want to go into Boujou, import sequence, find where it is. So for me it's in users, desktop, go across and find motion track, tut, it's up to you, whatever you save, call it, and wherever you save it you have to find it. Go tut images, go on the first one which is all zeros, not 001, to make sure it's all zeros. Click on that, change the frame rate to whatever it is. Personally I think you should be using 59 FPS to make sure that you get a decent outcome and not a laggy thing on the 30 FPS YouTube frame cap. So if I was you, I'd make sure you use 59 or higher if you're doing PC edits. Close that down and track the features. You make sure you have to do this, make sure it's on all frames. If you want to, you can take the sensitivity up, you can drag it up and get more dots. Personally it doesn't really bother me, because the more dots the more points, but then it gets quite confusing, so I usually turn it up, say 2 below, so that you get more dots, whereas if you turn it down you get less. So if you just bring that up and then start, I'm going to pause and come back when this is done and then show you the next step. Basically guys, it's now finishing up, so as it's getting closer you can see all these red crosses up here. What they basically are little points that they're going to mark on the map, which basically indicate where the other points are going to merge together and form a motion trackable point. So as you can see, if you start on the first frame, they all stay static. For example, that one there is on top of the wave. You scrub all the way through and it's still on top of the wave. So what we're going to have to do now guys is go camera solve, optimize camera path smoothness, and make sure you're on sequence 1 if you're doing it on sequence 1. Start, and see this can either take longer or a shorter time, and I'm gonna wait for this to do because it does it rather quickly for me. See, and now you've got all these points here. For example, you've got one there, and if you scroll through it stays there, and you've got multiple in the background here. So what you want to do is scrub through to just over the middle where you can see the whole canvas you're working on. Go scene geometry, add coordinate from hint, and I always work backwards, but people don't like when I do this. Personally I think it works better and you get a more static stick. Go ahead and find 2 points on the x-axis, so I'm going to go there, control click to select multiple points, go there, connect to selected, add coordinate from hint again, change this to the z-axis. X-axis is going across, y-axis is going up on the walls, but we don't have any walls here, so we're going to stay with just using X and Z. Z-axis is the depth, so what you're going to do here is click, unclick them two. I'm going to use, say, these two. I'm going to use them as my Z-axis. Connect the selected, update coordinate frame, that's what I usually do for every single one. And then an origin, so you're going to want to find one in the middle. See, I would prefer if I had one around here, but I don't, so I'm going to go and select this one, because it's in the middle of the X-axis and the Z-axis, so it's pretty much the origin, even though it's slightly too far over. Connect selected, click update coordinate frame a few times, close, then you can go ahead and click add test objects, and you see now that that ladybird is there and it won't move, that's basically showing you where your text is going to be on Cinema 4D. So that's how you get a motion trackable point. Go ahead and delete these objects. I like to save it just in case. So go up to wherever you've saved it, find your folder, so mine is there. I'm just going to call this tut save again. And then what you're going to want to do is you want to go export camera solve. You could just press F12, but I don't often use function keys. And you're going to want to go and find your Cinema 4D folder. Call this tut save, or whatever you are going to call this, so your title of your edit or something. Save. You go down, make sure it's on Cinema 4D. It's got to be on that, because otherwise it won't open. Start frame, steps, they're all will be the same. Start index, go to 0. Null size 0, and the scale scene has to be 100. It must be 100 or it won't work. And then click save. And what you can go ahead now is close that down. And when you get here, see mine is a notepad, and you're definitely going to, what you're going to do is you want to go right click, open with, notepad. Go, this is where it gets quite complicated. You go find, and then put these numbers in. I'll put these numbers in the description as well. -3.141593. Find next, and it will bring you down to here. So what you want to do is delete that minus. You might have to pause the video if I'm going too fast. I just don't want this video to be very long. Copy all them zeros, delete all of these numbers here, make sure it's just them, and then paste them in there. Because if you go and don't do that, the actual points on Cinema 4D will be tracked to the camera and not the background. So when you move, the points will move with the camera when they should stay on the background, and the camera should move around the points. You can try it without, and it won't work, but try it if you really want to. You want to click X and then click save, otherwise you have to do the whole thing again. And then open with Cinema 4D. Mine's a bit broken at the moment, but that's fine. And it'll come up with this, scale 10, click OK. And then what you want to do is you want to go down, find this, go background, go create, new material, drag this across to the amount of frames you've got, so I've got 588, click that, and go texture, load image, find it, so that's my previous edit, find desktop, go down to there, find the tut images,